Views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hello and welcome to Real Reviews, episode 515. My name is Jameson Rabbit, and this week I'm so glad to have back someone who I enjoy having on the show so much. We haven't had on for a while. It is Kate Sadler. There she is.
Hi, I'm here again. I don't remember what my last one.
It's been a while.
It wasn't Barbie, was it?
No, there was one since, but it's been several months since we had your smiling face on the show. So excited to have you back.
I'm so joyous, yeah.
And we had to have you back because you love the Oscars as much as I love the Oscars.
I love the Oscars. I think they're funny. I think it's a good opportunity for things to go wrong.
Yeah.
And I also get really angry at them. So.
Excellent. And we're going to get into what we thought of the Oscars after we review some movies.
So true.
We got a couple movies to talk about this week. And let's get started with what we have on the marquee. And I'm going to start with you.
Yeah,
what do we have?
Our first movie is Kung Fu Panda 4. And this follows Po, as we all know and love, also played by Jack Black, who we also all know and love. Po is now the Dragon Warrior, and while helping his father with his restaurant, as per usual, Master Shifu, who is played by Dustin Hoffman, arrives to tell him that he needs to become the leader of the Valley of Peace, which means he cannot be the Dragon Warrior anymore. So he needs to find someone to take his place, a successor. On his journey to find said successor, he finds this fox bandit named Jen, who's played by Awkwafina, of all people. And then while they're, talking, chatting, and whatnot, Ian McShane plays Tai Lung, and Tai Lung shows back up, which is crazy because Tai Lung is supposed to be defeated. Why is he back? How did he get back there?
Good question.
Turns out...
America wants to know.
Turns out there's a little sorceress lady named Chameleon, who's played by Viola Davis, which I was very hyped to learn about because I love Viola Davis.
Yeah, great voice cast.
I love her. Her name is pretty self-explanatory. She is like a chameleon. She can change her form to anything, anyone, which is how she messes with Po and Jen on their journey. And then more wacky hijinks ensue, which feature a couple of twists. So I won't get into that, but you should watch to figure out what it is.
I have a question for you. What is your connection to the Kung Fu Panda franchise? It's been around for 16 years now.
I love them. I think they're, let's say the first three, are very good. They balance comedy and like an emotional tone really well. I think Jack Black is great as Po. I think they, like the characters they create for all of the movies are very well thought out and well done. And I'm a huge fan of all the movies. I've been a huge fan.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I have less so of a connection. I don't know. I feel like every time I watch one, I'm enjoying it while I'm watching it, and I retain very little about it afterwards.
Yes, yeah. I will say it is definitely a hard to retain movie, but I will say they're fun.
I love the voice cast in them. You mentioned the people in this one. The one thing I was disappointed in is I love is it the Furious Five?
Yes, I was going to mention that too.
No Furious Five in this movie. I'm going, when are they showing up?
Where are they?
No
mention, no nothing?
I was a little disappointed in that because I really enjoyed their
characters.
Their dynamics together as a team. I think the action's fun. I don't know. I feel like this and other DreamWorks films such as Minions, that those films just, I don't know. I think I might be too old. Thank you. Thanks. How'd you know what I was going to say?
I predicted it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do. I kind of feel like they came out when I was at a point where I was like, just not. And my kids didn't have any connection to them.
Oh, which
is huge. Like they just, like when this first came out, my boys were into How to Train Your Dragon rather than Kung Fu Panda.
Also a great movie series.
Great series. Great trilogy.
I thought the animation for this was really cool. I thought the action scenes were really cool. However, I felt like it lacked a lot of the emotional depth of the first films.
Yeah, I can see that.
And No Furious 5, which I thought was a waste of good character building. Also, felt kind of rushed. Not as well thought out, well written, plot-wise.
I did love the underground and the thieves' den, whatever it's called.
Yes, I did like that
part. The three little bunnies.
Yeah.
That were like cute little bunnies. The ones like violence makes my tummy tingle. Like, that got a laugh out of me.
I giggled.
I took my 11-year-old daughter to this movie. She fell asleep halfway through. That's not an endorsement.
That's not good.
That's not an endorsement.
Not
All right.
good.
What did you end up giving Kung Fu Panda 4?
I gave it a 2.5 stars.
I feel like we came at it from different directions, but we landed on the same score. I gave it
really?
2.5 as well. It's fine. Like I said, I won't remember anything about this movie in 6 months.
I will say it didn't live up to the rest of the movies, and I think they should have just stuck 2-3 of them. But
not one of your favorites. Okay, very
you
good.
do?
All right, let's move on to what we have on our streaming spotlight this week, where we turn to Prime Video for the new film from director Peter Farrelly, one half of the Farrelly brothers. This is Ricky Stanicky. 3 youths set on pranking their neighbors set a bag of flaming dog poop on fire on their neighbor's unsuspecting porch. Things get out of hand and they end up burning the neighbor's house down. But before they run off from the burning home, they leave behind a jacket, planting evidence in which they've written the name of a fake person that they've made up to pin the blame on. This made-up name is Ricky Stanicky. And it works so well that all through childhood and into adulthood, this imaginary friend of theirs is still their scapegoat, an excuse for getting out of things as adults. They use him to get out of having to do things with their wives or to have bro time. And they've honed it to such a degree that they have a binder, a Bible as they call it, which they use to keep all the lies and stories they've told about Ricky in order so that if they're ever questioned, they can continue the lie. The 3 friends are Dean, JT, and Wes, played by Zac Efron, Andrew Santino, and Jermaine Fowler, respectively. And they use this one time to JT, what's his name? Andrew Santino's character. His wife is she's 8 months pregnant. And they decide they want a weekend away, so they fake a phone call from Ricky stating that his cancer is back and they need to go be with him. But instead, they end up in Atlantic City so they can have another bro weekend. And they run into a guy down on his luck, a guy named Rod, played by John Cena. And he's a guy who's scamming for free drinks. He tells him he's a singer, an actor, an entertainer, and he specializes in performing parody songs with his own very unique twist on them. It's an acquired taste in music. I can't really talk about it. But when the guys return home mid-trip because wife Susan has given birth while they were gone on their weekend, there's a lot of pressure from everyone to meet this legendary Ricky and have him there for the bris of the baby. And that is when Dean reaches out to Rod, John Cena's character, because he's, of course, a professional actor, he says, and a raging alcoholic. And they put the Bible in his hands and pay him to portray Ricky to friends and family. And then, as you see right there, hijinks will ensue, things will spiral out of control, especially when Rod goes full method actor and believes that he is Ricky Stanicky. What do you feel about this movie?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. I think it's good to bring back the type of movies that you would find for the $5 section at Target. And that said, I say that in praise, not in a mean
seemed
way.
like a slam.
Yeah, like we need back like trashy comedies because that's what film is about truly at the end of the day, to me. I need to show it to my dad because it definitely appeals more to that demographic.
Sure.
I just thought it was entertaining. John Cena is a great comedic actor.
John Cena is, and we'll talk about him some more later in the show, but yes, underrated comedic chops.
Yes. Yes.
He plays a real wild card. Here's the thing: is being a husband and a father.
Right.
I hate almost everything about these horrendous husbands.
No, literally, because what do you mean you're going on a weekend?
They're the worst dudes. They treat their wives like they're a burden.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like, I gotta lie to her just so I can hang out and do anything other than hang out with her.
Okay, so maybe you hate your wife and you should get a divorce.
That's
your solution.
That's it. And I love Zac Efron.
Zac Efron is great.
I can't root against him, but Andrew Santino, who plays JT, I feel like he's a dollar store Bill Burr. I'm not a big fan. Jermaine Fowler I love, and I thought his character was given a little bit more depth to his character. But this was John Cena, man. These people are terrible people in this movie, and it feels like a sitcom trope of like, oh, my wife's a drag, but John Cena is so likable, and his energy
He's so great.
really saved everything about this movie. I kind of want to see all the husbands get their punishment in this film.
Me too. I wanted them to have, like a closure where you're like, this is satisfying. They got like what they deserve.
No, the ending is pure fantasy.
Yeah, it is.
And
it
you get
is.
the great William H. Macy showing up in this
True.
movie.
That is true.
Like,
that does
wow, they
happen.
got William H. Macy to do
Yeah,
this?
it was just such whiplash with like Zac Efron. I just watched him in the Iron Claw, and then we went to this, and I was like,
yeah. Very different.
oh, okay.
Very different.
But you know, great actor, so he can do both.
Yeah, and Peter Farrelly is the director. I mean, the Farrelly brothers have made some of the great comedies.
Yep.
And I mean, when you talk about those comedies those trashy comedies, I mean, the Farrelly brothers made a ton of those. So it's very fitting
Big
that
fan.
you
Big
recognize this for what it
Yes.
is. All right, what do you give Ricky Stanicky?
I give it 3 stars.
It's like we share a brain this
Oh,
week.
what? There's
Miss
no
Kate,
way.
I gave this 3 stars as well. Like I said, I
Wow.
wanted to hate everyone in the movie, but John Cena, man,
It's just very entertaining.
he's great. He's
If
good
I'm
stuff.
not bored, it gets a 3 stars automatically.
All right. Little peek into the scoring system.
Yeah.
All right. I like this. All right. Let's, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, the Oscars were this past weekend. And last week, Steve Sabaki and I made our predictions and gave our picks of who we wanted to give awards to. And I'm not going to rehash how things went, but there were some things that I didn't care for, and we might talk about that here. But let's get into our Oscars 2024 recap. First, let's start off. Jimmy Kimmel comes back to host for, I believe, the 6th year hosting the Oscars. I like him as a host. I think his monologue is fun. We've had some good and some really terrible hosts. I think he plays it down the middle pretty well.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Still,
I'm going to.
she's still on the slide.
No, it's literally the funniest thing ever to me. Like, it's not even that serious. It's just so funny. Jimmy Kimmel is a hit or miss person, like when it comes to his jokes. So like, I don't know. It's like hard to be a good host. I know that. Like it's
very
hard
hard.
because you're not gonna please everyone. So I just kind of take it at like face value with his jokes. I'm just like, you know,
I like that
there's other people I would put up there.
he
but I
does
don't
his
care.
monologue, and then he kind of gets out of the way for a lot of the show,
Yes.
which is nice.
I will say it was a little exhausting to hear the same repeated. Movies are so long. Animation is for kids joke. I was like,
Yes.
okay,
The movies are
we
so long
understand.
thing. Like,
like it's a movie.
so over it.
It's a movie. Sorry y'all are watching 6-second videos on TikTok.
Or
Get
the
into the
people that
3-hour
sit
movies.
and binge whole seasons of
Right.
a show, but it's like, but this movie's too long.
But this movie, it's the same thing.
I watched 3 hours of
Be
a
normal.
series. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
I'm with you. This is time to talk. But one of the, in a telecast like this, you're always looking for moments that you remember. Kate remembers the slap vividly. Moments to remember out of
there.
this year's, I think one of the number one moments to remember is the aforementioned John Cena showing up.
That was great.
And
I thought it was so
there
funny.
he is. We talk about 40 years ago, I believe it was, there was a streaker that came and then streaked onto the stage. And Jimmy Kimmel says, we have a streaker now. And John Cena, of course, peeks his head out. It's like, I don't want to do this, man. I don't want to do this. Like, you have to come out. And John Cena, bearing it all in front of the biggest audience. And
Yeah.
he's still, he's a guy who is still, I think, trying to be taken more seriously as an actor and not just
Yes.
the wrestler.
Yeah.
And to come out in front of people who aren't quite your peers yet. You're
Yeah.
hoping they'll be your peers someday and do this. I think it was brave.
It was brave. And I think everyone enjoyed. I don't think anyone was like, this is a stupid bit. I thought it was funny. I laughed. I giggled.
And a great way to remember. It was the best costuming.
presentation. Yeah, costuming.
Best costuming, right?
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah,
Or lack
costuming. I
of.
never remember
Yeah.
who presented best costumes. Another one of the huge moments of the show, right? They have the performances of all 5 best original songs performed. Billie Eilish and Phineas, who end up winning. They performed. It's
They
great.
did.
We've
It's great.
kind of seen that performance before, but I think the big hit was
Ryan
Gosling coming out with
Oh
"I'm
my
Just
God.
Ken" in a massive Gentlemen
God.
Prefer Blondes homage with all kinds of stuff going on.
I'm so biased, like so extremely biased, but he is literally one of my favorite actors ever. And I think this performance was literally like, he is so insane and so good at what he's doing. And I think it's good too because he wasn't even taking himself seriously. Like you
Right.
could tell he was like,
Yeah.
he was just doing stuff. But the thing is he's like a genuinely good singer. He's been in a
Yeah.
band before. Like
He was
he
in
knows
La
what
La
he's-
Land.
He was in La La
guy
Land singing.
sings.
And like I also found out that like the Gentlemen Preferred Blondes like reference and the way the choreography and everything was set up was intentional on his
Yeah.
part, which I was like, okay.
Big shout out. My
Okay.
wife picked that up first. She was
Yeah.
like, this is Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. I was like,
Yeah.
was it? Oh.
Well, I thought it would have been a choreography thing, but I guess Ryan Gosling thought of it. And I was like, he knows his things. Okay.
our friend Steve Sabatke last week on the show he's talked about in the past how he has a big man crush on Ryan Gosling. We've talked about it on football broadcasts everywhere. And last week, this performance ended, and within seconds, I got a message from, okay, the Oscars are over. You can't top that.
You can't. The outfit, dude, everything. I was literally shaking. I
love how he starts
him.
in his seat in the crowd next to his wife,
Yeah.
behind Margot Robbie, in front of Billie Eilish.
Exactly. And you can see them all laughing. And then
dying.
giving the mic to Emma Stone, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited for The Fall Guy. I'm so excited for The Fall Guy. When that comes out, love
now,
you,
there's a
Ryan
bunch of other
Gosling.
things that happened during the Oscars, and we can just kind of throw it back and forth.
Yes.
One of the things that I really enjoyed was the 2 Best Documentary Awards were presented by Kate McKinnon and America Ferrera.
Yes.
And they had a really fun back and forth.
I like their banter.
Where they looped in Steven Spielberg about dinosaurs being real. I thought that was pretty funny.
I didn't
what
realize
else?
Steven Spielberg was looked like that. He looked so cutie.
Yeah, Kate McKinnon's like, who have I been sending my tasteful nudes
eyes.
to?
Yeah.
Like this guy.
Yeah. What did I notice? I liked that Ke Kwan was able to come back for the Best Actors thing because I love him. I think he's so fun. He just goes out
so
and
excited
he just,
to just be up there
takes selfies with everyone. I'm like, he's great.
Yeah.
I liked that on the actresses side. Loved that Jennifer Lawrence was there because I also love Jennifer Lawrence.
She's a ton of fun. I enjoyed Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
Yes, I was
going to
mention that their dynamic
and I thought
was
we were
also
doing
great.
I thought we were going to go twins jokes, but they went Batman jokes because they both played Batman villains, and then cut to Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Giving him the bring it on.
I thought it was so funny. I thought it was great.
That was very good.
I think they should present more things. Or let Danny DeVito present everything. I'll be happy.
He threw me out a window.
Yeah. John Mulaney was funny.
Yes.
I love John Mulaney. And his Madame Web reference. As someone who saw Madame Web twice in theaters.
He's the only person in America who's done that.
He is so funny. I probably am. Did anyone
I think you
see it
actually
twice?
might be. Another thing I enjoyed was the filmmaker who won for best, I guess it would be for best documentary feature, 20 Days in Mariupol, went up and gave an amazing speech about, it's about the war in Ukraine, and he gave this speech about how he didn't want this award. He just didn't want war in Ukraine. Oh man, probably the most moving speech for me of the night. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought his speech was really good. I also loved the win for editing was a woman.
Yeah.
We won that. She seems super nice. I don't know her personally. I don't know why I said
Okay, they know.
So that I know her personally. But I was super hyped.
You or something?
No, that would be cool though.
Right?
But she didn't. I just thought it was cool because I like to recognize editors.
I had a few frustrations in the night, and one of them was best live action short, Wes Anderson's film, Henry Sugar.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna. As soon as they said Wes Anderson,
I thought it was the 4th best of his shorts that he put out this year. His Roald Dahl shorts.
True.
And then these live action shorts I feel like should be recognized as a launching ground for aspiring feature filmmakers,
right?
Not an A-list filmmaker who's like, I'm going to put out a bunch of shorts.
That is fair. I didn't really think about it.
I like those to be like, this is where you look back in 8 years and be like, I remember that guy won Best Short, and now look at him. He directed the new Godzilla movie,
Yeah.
And then he didn't even show up for the Oscars.
No, just wasn't there.
Slap.
Okay.
Another one that I was disappointed in is the Best Animated Feature Film. I had feelings when Spider-Man Across the Universe did not win.
I knew that Boy and the Heron had gone through and swept all the other award shows, so I was like, okay, maybe this is Spider-Verse this time. But then they didn't win. And I get it because it's Miyazaki's last film, because his son's film was so bad he had to come back and make an actually good one.
It's not even one of my favorite Miyazaki
It's not
films.
one of my favorites. And I get, because it's also traditional and everything else was but Spider-Verse is just on another level that I don't think any other film can really compete with.
Spider-Verse was my 2nd favorite movie of the year overall last year out of 200
I think it was my favorite movie of the year.
It didn't get the award. And then even more, to double down, my favorite movie of the year, Killers of the Flower Moon,
I know.
Totally blanked.
I know.
That hurt my heart.
Not even a Lily Gladstone. Oh my gosh. And Emma Stone was great in Poor Things, and I love Emma Stone. Yeah. I have nothing against her, but Lily Gladstone is an amazing actress. She deserved that award.
Absolutely.
She learned another language for that movie.
That one made me genuinely sad when she didn't get it. And I love Emma Stone. Nothing against Emma Stone, but man, this one made me sad.
I think Emma Stone is great, and I loved Poor Things. However, I think Killers of the Flower Moon was way better, and Lily Gladstone was a more compelling performance. But hopefully she'll be back for more. I hope.
I hope so.
I hope.
All right, let's move into those who won, and we'll go into the acting categories first, and just throw out whatever you got. First off, Best Supporting Actor, Robert Downey Jr. in No Surprise, won for Best Supporting Actor for Oppenheimer. There he is. Talk about it.
I wished it was Mark Ruffalo or Ryan Gosling. But
See, and I hoped it was Robert De Niro.
Oh yeah. So
I just didn't think this was Downey's. I don't think he was.
I don't think even out of all the supporting actors in the movies, I don't think it was he was the best out of them because and he didn't really have that much.
But people, sometimes it's a narrative award, and they just Hollywood loves Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
He knows how to play the game.
Yeah, he does. And like, I'm not upset. I just like Ryan Gosling. Best, like, I stand behind him always.
Yeah, I know. In the Best Supporting Actress category, The Holdovers, Devine Joy Randolph
I was so
won.
happy about this one.
Yes,
I was so
she
happy
gave an
about this
amazing
one.
speech.
I love her.
Wiping a tear right along with her.
I love her. I loved her dress. I think she's great. I thought she was a great actress. And I also hope to see her come back for more.
And in a night where, The Holdovers was one of my favorite movies as well. And in a night where they didn't get much.
They didn't get much.
I was glad to see them represented right there. So that was nice. And Paul Giamatti walking her up onto the stage, helping her out, like, class act.
Also like to see Messi the dog there.
Yeah, right.
I love him.
Yes. In our Best Lead Actor category, Cillian Murphy won for Oppenheimer.
I expected this. I don't.
Yeah.
Like. Okay.
Not a huge surprise in that one.
Nope. I think he's great.
He is.
I'm not surprised. I'm not mad. I'm not happy. Well, I'm happy. Not happy makes me sound like I'm like upset. I'm neutral on it.
You give that win 2.5 stars.
Yeah.
Right down the middle.
Yep.
And then, as we talked about, for Best Lead Actress, Emma Stone, one of 4 Oscars, won for Poor Things on the night. Mm-hmm. She kind of, she ends up Stone over Gladstone is the headline. She walks away
I
with the
did
Oscar.
appreciate the shout out to Gladstone and her speech, but it should have been her. Like, oh my gosh, it's just so sad.
Yep.
So sad.
And then Oppenheimer continuing with Christopher Nolan winning for Best Director in what was the slam dunk. Yeah, exactly.
Took him a while, but
one of our great directors.
Yeah.
And then capping it off with the end of the night, Best Picture goes to let's talk about Al Pacino coming out there.
Right?
So Emma Stone.
My eyes see Oppenheimer.
Emma Stone wins the Best Actress award. The last time she won Best Actress was 7 years with the mix-up with La La Land and Moonlight, right?
Oh my gosh.
And Jimmy Kimmel makes a joke that says, rip up that envelope so we don't have a mix-up again. And then once again, the Academy sends out the oldest guy in the theater to hand out the biggest award. And Al Pacino doesn't read off the nominees. And then awkwardly he's like, my eyes see Oppenheimer. And there's a long pregnant pause.
Like, what does he mean?
Music's not playing. No one's like, does that mean we win? Like,
yeah.
It was so awkward. And kind of like a lackluster end to the night.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I mean, I'm glad it was just very funny. Even I watching, I was like, what did he say?
Yeah, it was
what?
So weird, but
so strange.
Oppenheimer wins. There's your Best Picture winner.
Yeah, nothing for Barbie except Song of the Year.
That's it. That's all you got. I'm sorry. Maybe next year.
I just thought it would get like, oh my god.
Yeah, I thought it would get like production design or costumes.
Production design.
I thought it should get costumes myself.
Costumes was also great. Yeah. I don't know.
No such luck.
I don't know. But next year, I predict doing a lot of Dune awards.
I was saying that to Zenon while we had the Oscar party at the theater, and all the technical awards. I said next year you're just gonna hear Dune. Denis gonna be up here sending his people up to get rewards.
So much Dune.
Yes, for sure.
Hopefully the fall guy, Ryan Gosling, you can avenge yourself. Let's be an Oscar winner instead of an Oscar loser.
You guys be a Best Picture winner? I'd love to
it's gonna be Dune probably.
All right.
And also I would just like to take the time, since we're discussing the Oscars, to remind everyone that Nope should have won Best Sound 2 years ago.
You're like me when I say Empire Strikes Back still should win Best Picture.
Oh, it should have. I forgot about that. Nope, got nominated for nothing, and that's the biggest snub of my entire life because that's
your favorite movie.
It's my favorite
How many
movie.
times have you seen Nope by now?
Probably 15.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
So good.
All right,
So
let's
good.
take a look ahead at what is coming soon to some films that we might be talking about Oscar time next year. Who knows? We're looking at the weekend of March 22nd, where we have Ghostbusters Afterlife, the new chapter in the Ghostbusters franchise. Paul Rudd and the Ghostbusters, I'm all right with it. We also have a film that you and I were talking about off air, Immaculate. Sydney Sweeney stars as a devout woman sent to an Italian convent where she realizes that there's some dark secrets waiting for her.
Will she be better than her performance in Madame Web? Only time will tell.
Could she be worse? Oh, boy.
It's a very low
I don't
bar to
know.
clear.
Yeah. And then lastly, over on Prime Video, we have Roadhouse, Doug Liman's vision of the 1984 cult classic that was starring Patrick Swayze, this time starring Jake Gyllenhaal as the cooler Dalton.
That sounds good. I like
Kind of
Jake
excited for
Gyllenhaal
this.
as an
Yeah,
actor.
I'm kind of excited for
He's
this one.
good.
Before we move any further, though, we want to thank our sponsor, Marcus Theaters, the Palace here in Sun Prairie. Thank you for putting on a great time. The Oscar party this past weekend, that was a lot of fun. Zenon and David who did that, and that was a great time. Hopefully that continues. But thank you for sponsoring this program for 10 years now, and we do appreciate it. I also want to give out thanks. Thank you, Kate, because
thanks.
this is
Yeah.
our final time together here
It
on the
is,
show.
sadly.
And I have really enjoyed you coming on, bringing a fun energy, bringing
Thank
some.
you.
You love movies. And
I
it's
love them.
obvious.
I love them. I like to watch. I like to analyze. I think it's very fun. Yeah.
There's some people I talk movies with where I feel like I have to lead the whole conversation, drag things out of them. That is not the case with you.
Oh, thank you.
And I really enjoy doing this.
Yes.
And I'm going to be sad that we don't get to do this anymore. But
Yeah.
thank you for all your.
Of course, no problem. It's probably better that because my friends are the ones who have to hear about it. If I don't have this outlet and they're like,
Well, that's how it started,
"Oh,
right?
you watched Nope for the 15th time? Okay, we don't care." And I'm like,
This all started because your mutual friend Megan
exactly.
was like,
Shout out
you
Megan.
need to get Kate on because I'm tired of having to hear the opinions. Let her put it in front of
I
the
just
camera.
talk about it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Next week, I'm going to be talking about some of these films. I'm not sure which ones, but we have Arthur the King, the Mark Wahlberg dog movie. We have One Life. That's the new film with, I drew a blank on him, guy who played Hannibal Lecter. Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. Oh my gosh.
Come on. We got a minute.
I don't.
Okay. It's a new film starring Anthony Hopkins. We also have American Society of Magical Negroes. We have Love Lies Bleeding,
I
which
wanted
we.
to see that.
This was half the
is
reason that
too
Kate was on this week, and Love Lies Bleeding got pushed a week.
I'll go watch it myself.
Okay. Maybe you just sneak in during the show next week.
Yeah.
And be like, I saw it.
I saw it. It was really good.
And I'm going to be joined by Dan Presser for all of that action. Dan Presser, the host of the new podcast, Old News, which is a lot of fun. That's all going to be happening next week. Wow. But until, before we go, I want to say this show is coming near to an end. We're saying our goodbyes to friends, but you can continue to follow Real Reviews on our social media accounts. We will still be posting things. I'll be posting reviews in various forms, written in video and otherwise. But make sure to follow us Facebook, Instagram, Real Reviews TV, or Real Reviews K-Sun, I believe are the ways to find us there. And it's not going to stop the love of talking movies.
So true. They will never stop me. As long as I have Letterboxd and a keyboard.
That's right.
They
If you
can't
want to
stop me.
find my reviews on Letterboxd, I am under, I believe, America's Co-Host.
I think I'm at T like the drink, Calico like the cat, and then cat like the cat.
T Calico Cat?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
I know,
it.
I follow you.
Yeah, that's true.
This is true.
That's true.
Good stuff. All right. Until next week, where I'm talking about some movies with Dan Presser, I'm Jameson.
I'm Kate. Oh my gosh. I was so delayed on that.
Have a great week.